Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts One Piece Sanji from Romance Dawn, the early version of Sanji, which is basically the same version as the later Sanji, but it's still a solid figure, and I wanted to review it because it's part of the line, and I figured I should do that. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. I think it's a good package, other than they put the figure behind the cardboard again. Somebody tell me why that's happening. I don't personally care because I don't care about the packaging. I never look at the packaging once I have the figure and do the review. But it's just so weird to me that they keep putting the figure dead center even though they're covering it up. That's very strange. For you inbox collectors, is that not irksome? It seems strange to me that we wouldn't put the figure to the side and have the accessories covered up. But otherwise, it's a good package. Small photos on the back compared to other companies, but I love the one-piece packaging with the hat up there. And yeah, it's a good package otherwise. Alright, so let's talk about this guy. He is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store as of the time of filming. If you have not gotten Sanji, I would recommend it. Though I might recommend the other one more if you don't care which version. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. He's just shy of 16 centimeters. That's going to make him roughly 6 1/4 inches. Here he is up against Darwin. So yeah, I'd say the one-piece figures are roughly 1/12 scale, give or take. Let's do a question of the day. Well, first, which version of Sanji do you like the most? I'm guessing you probably don't care because I don't think he changed anywhere near as much as most of the other characters in terms of character design. But you can tell me. But then the other question is, what are your top 3 One Piece characters? For me, I would go with Zoro, then Sanji, and then my third one would be, if we're not, I kind of wanted to exclude crazy characters like Whitebeard and stuff like that. But I would pick Whitebeard then if we're not excluding them. If we are excluding them, then I might go for, I think Frankie. Probably Frankie. Okay, so let's talk about the figure. It's all black plastic. He's wearing a suit, so the little bit of sheen on there doesn't bother me. It's not like it's super glossy. It's a little bit inconsistent throughout. This main torso area is a little bit more of a matte finish than the rest, but it still looks decent. The paintwork for the lines on the shirt, clean enough. The buttons are good. Shirt looks okay, yeah. He's just not the most fancy figure, that's for sure. The shoes are shiny though, so I'll give him that. I think he looks good enough. The shading in the hair is pretty nice and the face is clean. Cigarette looks good. Yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just a pretty bland figure, and Bandai's been charging a ton lately, so that kind of sucks. But otherwise, he looks good. He's got the right look. He's got the right silhouette for the most part. I don't like the way they keep making their thigh cuts so obvious. But yeah, it's a good looking figure. It gets the job done without any really offensive things going on. So I'm happy with it. I'll give the aesthetic on this guy an 8 out of 10. I'd like to see him do a little bit better in a few places, like for cutting the torso the way they did and the hips or the thighs and things like that. But it's pretty good looking. So I can't complain too much. Now, as far as the accessories go, he has no effect parts at all, which is kind of unfortunate, but we do have, like, they could have even just done like a swoosh for a kick. It doesn't even have to be the fire, just something would have been nice. But we do have a really nice spread of faces. Those are good. We get another face for Luffy again. We had a decent spread of hands, not a ton, but probably everything you need. You get the hands for the pockets as well. And then you get 2 plates or bowls of food, and that's it. So it's a pretty low number, but it's not bad. I'll go 7 out of 10 for accessories. I think it'll be enough, but I would like to see like a swoosh or something, even if it's not fire, something for his kicks would be nice. Alright, let's see if this guy can pose. First, what I'll do is pull his head off so we can look at his neck. Oh man, there we go. Alright, so I'm happy to tell you, we have ball pegs. Ball pegs for the win, and let's see if it actually works though. Yep, it works nicely. Ball pegs are the way to go. The collar does impede articulation a little bit. He's not going to have the most range, but it should be enough, and it just goes wherever you want it, so that's great. Now for the shoulders, we have those crazy shoulders that they did before, and in some ways I like it a bunch. In other ways I don't. I get what they're going for. They're trying to keep this right here to look like a suit jacket. Now the problem is that gives him almost literally no shoulder articulation there at all. What they did to make up for that was let this whole piece rotate up, and so that works. It's pretty close to doing what they want it to do. This part sticks out too much sometimes and then gets stuck on here. Let me brighten it up, even though his face and hands will get washed out. That way you can see better. This likes to get stuck on here, but you can raise his arms It's a weird, complicated design. I don't hate it. I like what they were going for here, and even for Bandai, they seem to exercise some judgment in not overcomplicating it. It's a complicated joint, but it actually does what it's supposed to do, so I don't mind it. It does move around. It goes backwards. That gets a little bit weird looking in there, but it goes forward as well. And then, of course, you can rotate it forward a little bit, and it gets really bad there. So in some ways, it's definitely overly complex and not that good, but in other ways it works. And of course, you can just rotate the arm forward on its own. I think I would have just preferred just more of a standard joint, like don't cut the shoulder up as much and just let the shoulder, this part of the shoulder, have the joint in it like normal. But it serves its purpose in some ways, so I can't fault them too much. You do get your bicep swivel there. Single jointed elbow, but it gives you kind of a nice looking elbow, and it's a little bit better than 90. It'll probably be okay. I tend to prefer more articulation, but it's fine. And then wrist hinges, those are fine. For the torso, it just moves around. It's not the best looking joint, but it functions. You have your swivel here, and then of course you have your different... It's a ball peg. It doesn't have the most range, but it's fine. And then if you hold down at his crotch, you can move this bottom part too. So he can get decent range going, but he ends up fighting himself because this comes so low. This top cut is so low on his body. It's actually pushing against the bottom where it needs to bend to have actually double joints. As you can see, it's basically just a single joint. We don't have much of a bend right here because it's so low. Leaning back, we run into the same issue. They painted his belt in there, by the way. It's really nice. But yeah, you end up basically with just the one joint once you're trying to do deep bends. This one's fighting itself too much, so that's unfortunate. But it's not bad. It's just, it could be a lot more. You're going to get your twists in there. It could be a lot more effective. It's unfortunate that they did that. For the hips, he definitely can kick forward and back. No problem there. Going out to the side, no problem there. And no nuggets, which is really nice. I think I maybe said before that he was like the best release when he came out. But this line's been so weak, it's not really saying that much. But he's still a solid release. He's not perfect, but he does work nicely. And the jacket doesn't really get in the way too much. So that's good. And then for the thigh swivel, it's a thigh swivel. I don't think it's actually a ball peg, or if it is, it has such little range that it doesn't really serve a purpose. For the knees, just like the elbows, a single jointed knee. He has better than 90. Oh, that one's a little bit loose. Not too bad, but it's not great. Better than 90, so that's all right. But I'd like to see double joints in there, especially since you get some gapping. But it works. I see what they're going for. I don't hate it, but those knees are looser than I would like them to be for sure. And then for the ankles, you get a ball peg that lets the whole foot wiggle around, and then you get the ball hinge at the bottom. Getting the leg to go forward, or the foot to go forward, it does go, but it's not that far. It goes back really far, that's fine. Ankle rocker is fine. And then the toe hinge, it's one of the better ones they've done. It's nothing great, but it will do. Alright, let's get that video less bright, and let's talk about it. So, he can pose. He's not a great poser, but it'll work, and it should look okay. I'll give his articulation, for Bandai, it's probably only like a 7, really, because there are a lot of weird things that don't work as well as they could, but it's really not bad. I'd say, practically speaking, you probably won't have too much trouble other than the loose knees, so I could argue 8 for the articulation in terms of how it's actually going to work out, even if they didn't design it in the best way. But I think he's fine. I think he's a solid release. If you're looking for a blue shirt, SANJI from Romance Dawn, it's not going to bother you. I think you're going to be happy with it. Could be a better figure for the price for sure. Bandai's been being weird about that, but I think it's all right. I'm going to give it an overall rating of, I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a good figure. It needs a little bit more in the way of accessories, a little bit more in the way of finish, and a little bit more in the way of articulation, but it will certainly do the trick, and I think most people will probably be happy with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I'll be done there. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.